Herbert S. Sinclair of the Mount Holly Estate at Reddington, do publish and declare this instrument my last will and testament. I give and bequeath to my grandnephew, Simon P. Jones, all of my right, title, and interest in, and to the house and land which I own near Mount Holly. The above provision and bequest is contingent on my aforementioned grandnephew discovering the location of the 46th room of my 45-room estate. Should my grandnephew fail to uncover this room or provide proof of his discovery to the executors of my will, then this gift shall lapse.
Howdy there, folks. Welcome to another episode of Mission Get Her Gaming. Today's episode is Blueprints. I've been playing this game for roughly 2-3 hours now, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And in the course of playing it, I thought to myself, you know who might like this? Mismanagement Gamer. So here we go. Let me show you a little bit of the game, give you a little bit of the gameplay recap, and tell you what's going on, and tell you my thoughts on it. Because so far, I'm fairly impressed with this little indie piece here. So, without further ado, Blueprints. I'm on day 4. I've done 3 runs so far. You get 50 steps. They're up in the upper corner there. Basically, every time you enter the room, you lose one of those steps. Certain rooms penalize your steps. Once your steps get to 0, your day has ended. And if you haven't found room 46 by then, you have to start all over. Every time you start over, you'll come through that front door there. And as you can see, I just passed through the door. I lost 1 step. And when I pass back into the entrance hall, I lose another step. So the idea is to make every step count. You have your inventory, stuff that you collect, you will lose at the end of your run, and you have to collect it the next day. If you get to a point where you cannot add any more rooms, you can go ahead and call it a day. If you try to save and exit the game because you have something else to do, it basically will call it a day, and your next run will be brand new. There's a couple of different items you can collect that allow you to move through the game. There's keys that unlock door. There are special keys. If I get some of those, I'll show you. There are gems. Certain gems are required to build certain rooms. Again, I will show you that in a second. And then money. There are vendors where you can buy stuff. And then call it a day. Again, that will restart your run. So let's start. This letter waiting for you right here. You click on it, look at it. Open only in the event of my death. There's all sorts of stuff you can pick up and read. Really interesting backstory and stuff like that I am slowly developing as I play through the game, and I am enjoying it. This is your uncle basically telling you about how the run works. You can't bring anything from outside. You can't take anything with you, and you can't stay overnight. So every run's fresh. That's basically what they're saying. And then your uncle is wishing you good luck. And then over here, it tells you about losing steps, going through rooms, and calling it a day. So basically, all the tutorial and everything for the game is in notes and stuff that you will pick up as you go through. So there are 3 different paths I can go here, any one of these doors. And when you click on the door, you get 3 different rooms you can build. And you can actually see how the room will look on the map. So if I build the utility closet, it'll be right here on the right. There's 1 door in, no doors out. So that would be the end of moving in that direction. If I build the parlor, I will be able to build a room up from that. And if I build a closet, I won't be able to exit it, but there will be 2 items that will help me in my quest. There's all sorts of stuff. I know I haven't picked up nowhere near all of it. But we're going to build a parlor because parlor has a puzzle in it, and puzzles are cool. All right, so once you build the room, you can move into it. And you lose a step. In this room are 3 boxes. So, spoilers. I will, I think, put a little time emblem on here so you can skip past the spoiler if you don't want to know how the puzzle works, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it. So there's 3 boxes. There's always a box telling the truth. There's always a box lying. And only one box has the item in it you're trying to collect. So I said there's always one telling the truth, always one lying, and there's only one box with something in it. There could be 2 boxes lying, and there could be 2 boxes telling the truth. So this statement appears on another box. This statement appears on another box. So both of these boxes are telling the truth, and this box is lying. So this one says the blue box is empty, which means you need to open the blue box. You need the wind-up key to open the box. Click. And I get 2 gems. The gems will allow me to build rooms off of it. Sometimes rooms will just have random keys and items just lying, so you got to look around, which is kind of cool. So one of the cool things I like about this game is it doesn't have overpowering music. There's no monsters or anything like that. So this type of game where I could put on a book on audio and listen to it while playing it, and I can pay attention to what's going on in the book and still enjoy the game. I could play music. I could like run a video in the background that is, like a podcast or something. So that's kind of cool. It's also kind of reminds me of Clue, the board game Clue, and I love Clue. It's probably my favorite board game. Life is a close second, but I actually collect Clue games and Life board games, so a whole bunch of different types. So this is kind of right up my alley. Mismanagement Gamer also liked Clue, maybe not as much as I do. Then again, it's hard to tell. She's very competitive. So we get together and play with my parents, and it's a lot of fun. So a lot of the rooms on here look like they were drawn straight from a Clue board. So it kind of has that feel. So if I build this pantry right here, it'll give me 4 coins. I could use that to buy something. If you build a guest bedroom, going into it will give you 10 steps back. So basically, you'll lose the step by going into it, gain 10 steps, and then you'll lose a step by leaving it. So basically, you come out 8 steps ahead, which is cool. And then this is a security room. At the bottom, it's got a diamond, so I know I need to spend at least 1 diamond. I have 2 to build it. So that's cool. And it'll give you a list of all the items that are in the house that you could currently collect, because every run's going to be different. It also allows you to deactivate or change the security levels of the key cards, which will allow, I guess, harder rooms. You want to build your rank down there in the bottom corner. As you get closer to the north end, security gets more difficult. So basically, I can move up from every room in this situation, and the idea is to go north. So you always kind of want to have an up. This will also allow me to go up, but will also let me go to the left. And you want to get, I think, every room occupied. I don't know if you have to get every room occupied to find room 46, but it's possible. So if you can get every square on the blueprint filled, that's the best thing to do. You can't back out once you have selected a door. You have to pick a room. So like if I try to back out, it's going to tell me I have to select one. So in this situation, I'm going to get the security room because it gives me the most directions. All right. So blue memos are true and red memos are lies. So at one point in time in one of my earlier runs, I found a memo. I don't remember what color it was at this point in time, but it told me a safe code. And I wrote it down in my notes, in my phone, so that I could use that code later on if I found that safe again. But now I don't remember if the memo was blue or red. But I'm going to go ahead and make a note. Red memos lies. That way, I'll remember that red memos are lies, blue are true. So right here I have a red one and a blue one. So this one is a red note saying the antechamber is unlocked. That's a lie. So this one tells you that stuff will be locked as you move higher up. We can move on to the next one. And we're going to continue going left. So we have a storeroom. That'll give us a key, a gem, and a coin. We have a nook, which will give us an upward path and a key. And we have a furnace. If we open a furnace room, then we'll get more red rooms. And so far as I can tell, red rooms typically have negative effects, but we'll see. We're actually going to go with the nook to get the key. And there's a key. So now I have a key and a gem. If I find a locked door, I will be able to open it. Noteworthy, as you continue on your adventure, you may want to consider getting something to scribble notes down, as I have. And if you pull up this menu, you can look at a room directory. These are all the rooms that I've unlocked so far. See? Quite a few rooms I've unlocked, quite a few rooms I haven't. And then you can look at the rooms by type. So these are different bedrooms. And if you have a room that affects bedrooms, all these would be affected. This is hallways. If you find a room that does hallways, again, green rooms and shops, and then red rooms. And you see, like the red rooms, they have kind of negative effects to them. Like when I'm in the chapel, I'll lose money. When I go in the gymnasium, I'll lose steps. When I go into the dark room, I won't be able to see floor plans while I'm drafting. So I'm sure there's some sort of benefit to going in these rooms too, but I'm not really sure how that works. Lot to it. And then you can also look at your house history. So this was my first visit to the mansion. I made it to 10 rooms. My top rank was 4, so I guess that means I've moved up to the 4th northern spot. If you move up to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, it gets higher. I took 16 total steps and found 1 item before I lost. The reason I lost is because those doors at the top were locked. I didn't have a key, and there was no other branches I could do, so I had to restart. This was my second journey. It's now a mid-sized inn. So I did 24 total rooms on this one. I reached rank 5. I took 38 steps, found 4 items, and I got 16 new rooms in this trip. And then this was my last run that I did. I got up to the 8th rank. And unfortunately, the only room I could build at the time was the lavatory, which blocked me off from the antechamber. I don't know what happens when you reach the antechamber. I'd really like to know. I got 30 total rooms, 6 bedrooms. I took 83 steps. So as you notice, you start the game with 50 steps. You can see I took more than 50 steps by getting extra steps by doing some of these different rooms. I did actually end up becoming exhausted at the end of this run. So not only did I wasn't able to get through to the top, but I ran out of steps trying to work my way back to another room so I could continue moving upwards. So as you can see, there's a lot to the game, but it's also surprisingly simplistic. So it's very complex in its simplicity. Basically, go into a room, don't run out of steps, be able to unlock doors, and continue moving north. That's all there really is to it. Occasionally solve a puzzle to get an item that'll help you continue to move north. So do I think I might be able to get Mismanagement Gamer to play this? So the graphics are good, but they're not like over the top with realism. They're also not pixelated, which is something she doesn't like. She doesn't like to make fast movements and quick on your feet decisions. So like active combat turns her off for games. So this game doesn't have any combat. However, I am concerned that she might get bored playing through it. But then again, the exploration and picking up and reading some of the notes and trying to get through the puzzles and just trying to work her way north, I think she might actually give this one a go. So I'm going to present these facts to her, and we shall find out. And on the next episode of Mission, Get Her Gaming, did she or didn't she? Tune in next week to find out. Thank you.